Hey everyone, Diogo for Gearspace here. Welcome back to our channel. Today I would like to show you two very cool instruments from UJAM, Virtual Pianist Vibe and Symphonic Elements Brass. The cool thing about UJAM instruments is that they all share the same DNA, the same design philosophy, so if you learn one, you have learned pretty much all of them. There are minor differences here and there, of course, but the overall mode of operation is pretty much the same. So I'll start with Vibe, then I'll move on to Symphonic Elements Brass. So here we have Virtual Pianist Vibe. I'll start from bottom and go all my way to the top, starting with the keyboard. You can see that we have a left section here on a slightly different shade of gray, and the right section here. What this means is that the left side controls the rhythm a bit more, but we'll get there, and the right side controls the melody and the harmony. So how this works? First, you pick a phrase. The most intense phrase is down here on the C, and the most busy phrase with more notes is up here in the A. The B is where you stop the sequence. So let's pick a note here. I'm gonna set it to latch mode, so when I press a key, it stays play. So softest sequence on C. So let's switch to a slightly busier sequence, number 4. So more notes. You can also use the modulation wheel here. Controls the business modifier. So more notes are added. We also have a modifier for the velocity, which is mapped to the pitch wheel on most MIDI keyboards. Very cool stuff. So let's talk about the black keys now. So the first one is the lowest chord, the lowest note all the way down. And here we have a high chord. So if we set to switch from C to E, very cool stuff. And the remaining black keys here are fills. So let's go to the sequence number 1, least intense, so I can show you the fills. Fill number 2. And number 3. Very cool stuff. Up here, above the keyboard, we have the playing range. So here is what would be the virtual left hand of the virtual pianist. And here we have the right hand. So more range, more available notes. So let's try that out. Let's pick a different key this time around. Let's go to F. And let's get a bit busier. Very cool stuff. So where does all this sequence comes from? They come from the style setting here. So let's change that. Let's go to the basics. Let's go to power of pauses. Very cool stuff. So let's check out the next one, Left Hand Servant. Very bassy, very left hand. Pretty cool. So besides picking the style, you also get to pick the key and a voicing. The key is pretty much straightforward. You choose the key you want to play with. So let's go back to C. And for the voicings, I have the intermediate setting here, which is universal. You can change to complex or simplified. So let's see that in action. I'll start with simplified on a sequence number 4 here. This is basically only playing triads. Let's switch to universal. So a bit more sophisticated. And now let's go to complex, and it gets really, really interesting. You can see some more unusual stuff happening. So yeah, that wraps up the bottom section here. One last thing, if you're like a real pianist, if you're the real deal, if you're not someone like me who doesn't know how to play the piano, you can switch to instrument mode and you have this beautiful electric piano at your disposal. So I'm not a pianist, so I'm switching back to player because UJAM plays a lot better than me. So let's check out the top section now, which is basically all about the sonics. Let's start with the dark and light slider here. They're very intuitive. Pretty much everything about the UJAM instruments is very intuitive. So let's play a sequence here. Let's choose a different style now. Let's go in all. So let's go to dark. Gets a lot more bassy. Should be good if you're doing bass lines. Let's switch to light now. Should be great for solos if you need more definition, more attack. We also have 5 different characters to choose from. Here on the left, we have soft, round, bell, bark, and hype. So let's change our style once again. Bathroom break, interesting. So let's go here. Very cool. So let's switch to soft. A more dampened sound. Let's go to round. More attacky. Let's go back to bell again. Let's switch over to bark now. And finally, hype. A bit of distortion going on. Very cool stuff. So with these 5 characters in the dark and light slider, you can pretty much cover any electric piano sound, the most popular ones at least. Let's check out now the right side. Here we have 2 tabs, effects and master. I'll start with master since it's the easier one. We have tune. If you like to change your tune, you can change it in cents up to -50 or +50 cents. And dynamics controls the velocity range of the instrument. So if you want full velocity, turn it fully clockwise. If you want less velocity range, turn it to the left, counterclockwise. So if you want a strong player style, turn it to the left, so you have less variation. You stay within a narrower velocity range, which is stronger. And if you turn it to the right, you get more variations, you get a bigger dynamic range. So let's check out the effects tab now. Here we have the finisher and the ambience. The finisher is more about saturation, compression, EQ, but we also have some modulation here as well. And the ambience has reverbs, delays, pitch shifters, some experimental stuff. So they're doing much more than the name suggests. So let's check out some of these two effects slots in action. Okay, so I'll start with the finisher. I have the modern comp setting here. So it's kind of a slow attack, fast release. Gets quite plucky. Let's switch over now to lo-fi chorus. Let's check out some from the transform tab. Let's check out the budget megaphone. Now let's check out the remix. Let's go for the granular paradise. So yeah, it's doing quite a lot. You have a lot of options here, so don't get fooled by the name. Finisher does much more than the usual EQ, compression, distortion, limited thing. So there's a lot to explore here. So let's check out now the ambience. Let's pick a different style. I'll switch over to Bell for this one and go for the round the block. I'm gonna switch off the finisher for now to focus on the ambience. I'll start with one of my favorites, which is the Octave Cloud, which is kind of a shimmer. Now let's check out some delays. The classic ping pong. Now let's check out some reverbs. Vintage spring. So yeah, there's a lot that can be done here, especially when you combine finisher with ambience. So lots to explore. You can do much more than the usual electric piano. Okay, so before we head over to Braaass, let's check out a very cool MIDI feature that we have here on Vibe. You can see these dots on the left section. This is a MIDI drag and drop. There you go. You drag it to your DAW and you have the sequence right here, which is very cool. So let's get another one. We can also get the chord. So let's check out the chord. There you have it. Very cool. Let's check out the other sequence. Very cool as well. It also works for the fills. So grab those little dots and there you have it with the dynamics, on the velocity. So remember that master section setting. So yeah, cool. So let's head over to Symphonic Elements Braaass now. Okay, so here we have Braaass. It's very similar to Vibe, as I told you in the beginning of this video, but this time around we have 3 keyboard regions. We have the left and the right, just as we had in Vibe, but we also have a midsection here for the bass notes. So let's check out that in action. Very powerful stuff. We also have the style, just as we had in Vibe. Lots to choose from here. We have our key setting here, and something that I forgot to mention on the Vibe section of this video, which is the sync. You can sync to note, beat, and bar, and you can also set the timing. We have a swing slider here and a speed control. You can slow things down, half tempo, regular tempo, and twice the speed, which is what I have here. This will determine how fast the phrases will go. Speaking of the phrases side of the keyboard, this time around we don't have fills. We have some accents here on the first 2 black notes. We have 2 sustain notes here, and here we have a closing end note. So let's check out how that sounds. Long note. And some cool accents. Let's check out the ending note now. So this pretty much stops the sequence. Here we have 2 modifiers. This one controls the balance between low and high brass. This can be used alongside with the crossfade, so you have more low brass or more high brass. Let's have a listen. And here on the modulation wheel, we have a intensity setting. It starts on the max, on its lowest point, so let's check that out. So it gets more quiet once you push it all the way up. Very nice stuff. Here on the top, we have 2 sections this time around, one for the low brass, one for the high brass. You can switch them on and off. Each of them has its character effects and its motion effect slot. They're kind of similar to the finisher in the ambience, in the sense that character is more about tone and motion is more about special effects. So we have lots of options here, from basic filters to lo-fi, beat crushers, and everything in between. A brick wall limiter, punch, parallel compressor. And on the motion effects, we have lots of delays, some tremolos, auto pan, and we have a focus EQ on each of the sections as well. This is like a tilt style EQ, so if you shift it to the left, it'll get more on the high side. Push it to the right, you get more lows. And we also have a shape parameter here, which is kind of a envelope shaper. So if you set it totally to the left, you have more attack. If you push it totally to the right, you get a pad-like sound with less attack. So you can link these two sections or unlink them at will. And here in the middle, we have the actual finisher, lots of effects, mastering style effects, movements, tone, glitch, and some experimental stuff as well. We also have the ambience effects. We have a wide hall here. And we have the highlighter, which is kind of a morphing filter. So let's have a listen. Let's push some reverb. And let's make it wider. Very cool stuff. I should mention that the samples for Symphonic Elements Brass comes directly from the Hans Zimmer library. Hans Zimmer, the man himself, is a co-founder at UJAM. So yeah, you're getting top quality stuff here. Brass, just as with Vibes, can do much more than Brass. You can get very crazy with this instrument and do drones and pads and all sorts of experimental stuff. So make sure to check that out. All right, so this wraps it up for us. I hope this video was helpful to you. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.